And welcome to Hannity, and tonight we are broadcasting from ACL Live at the Moody Theater, where this is the first of two one-hour events with Donald Trump on the very important topic of illegal immigration. These topics have become central issues for the voters in this campaign, so we have decided tonight to go in-depth on the direct impact they are having on you, the American people. And tonight, you're going to hear heartbreaking stories from just some of the many, many family members whose loved ones were victims of crimes committed by illegal immigrants. And tomorrow, we'll be joined by law enforcement experts. Now, to put it simply, the effects that illegal immigration is having on our country is absolutely staggering. Now, the Pew Research Center estimates that over 11 million illegal immigrants now live in this country, not respecting our laws and sovereignty. The Federation for American Immigration Reform calculates the U.S. spends, get this, over $113 billion per year on illegal immigration. States and local governments, they're feeling the brunt of that cost and are shelling out over $84 billion per year. And now this includes over $49 billion for education, $10.8 billion for medical care, $9.6 billion on general expenses, $8.7 billion on justice expenditures, and $5.3 billion on welfare-related costs. Now, illegal immigrants make up 5.1% of the U.S. labor force. Over 8 million illegals now are working or looking for work. By the way, we have 95 million Americans out of the labor force right now. The Migration Policy Institute, they have an estimate that says of the 11 million illegal immigrants now living in the country, 820,000 of them are convicted criminals. And the most recent numbers show that in 2010, 55,000 illegal immigrants were being held right here in federal prisons. And when it comes to federal crime, data from 2015, get this number, 36.6% of the more than 70,000 federal sentences for offenses were committed by illegal immigrants. And if you look at the breakdown of the numbers, the federal sentences from last year alone, illegal immigrants responsible for 18% of drug trafficking, 30% of kidnapping, hostage-taking, 75% of drug possession, 10% of money laundering, 21% of national defense sentences, 5% of murder sentences, and right here in the great state of Texas, well, there have been hundreds of thousands of crimes only in the last few years alone. I have visited this border numerous times, over 11 times, and have seen up close and personal the impact of illegal immigrants trying to cross into this country. I've also seen massive drug tunnels and drug warehouses full of narcotics and other drugs confiscated by authorities. They, of course, were aimed for your children. Now, you would think that federal, state, local governments would see all of this as overwhelming data and do everything they could do to curb illegal immigration. That's not the case. There are in America today over 300 sanctuary jurisdictions which protect and shelter illegal immigrants from being deported. Tonight is about the truth. This is truth you will not hear from the New York Times, the Washington Post, ABC, CBS, NBC, certainly not CNN, the Clinton News Network. And to be fair, we've offered Hillary Clinton the same opportunity that we are giving Donald Trump over the next two nights. And as of tonight, her campaign, they haven't gotten back to me. Now, in just a few moments, Donald Trump will join us right here on this stage, along with mothers who have lost their children to crimes committed by illegal immigrants. Here's just part of what you will see in this investigative reporting tonight.
Our open border has allowed drugs and crime and gangs to pour into our country and our communities.
My best friend, my rock, my son, Dominic, was killed by an illegal immigrant.
So much needless suffering. So much preventable death.
When somebody reaches in your house and grabs your littlest kid and tortures them, you're afraid of everything for a long time.
Nothing has affected me more than the time I have spent with the mothers and fathers who have lost their children to violence, which we can solve. We have to solve it.
My son's life was stolen at the hands of an illegal alien.
1 minute, I'm hearing my son's voice. Be right home, old man. I'm right around the corner. Next minute, gunshots. And Jazz is dead.
My opponent wants sanctuary cities. Where was the sanctuary for all of the other Americans who have been so brutally murdered and who have suffered so horribly.
Joining us now for the hour, Republican presidential nominee, welcome Donald Trump. Mr. Trump, good.
A lot of people.
We got a lot of people.
A lot of good people.
By the way, we got 1, 2, 3, 4 stairs. Good to see you. Between the refugees that you said you will extremely vet and illegal immigration, I don't think there's any one other issue besides the economy and national security that's defining this election. You heard all of those statistics. Your reaction?
I think it's horrible. I've gotten to know the families. Jamil is a friend of mine, lost an incredible son who was going to go to one of the great colleges on a football scholarship, and a smart, young, beautiful guy, and he was shot in the face by somebody that just wanted to shoot somebody. In this case, they wanted to shoot somebody because he was black, and it was a disgrace, and he shouldn't have been in the country, wasn't supposed to be in the country. And, you know, whether it's Jamil or so many others that have been their lives have been destroyed by this. And I hope in the case of Jamil, I hope it's not destroyed. But how do you ever recover from a thing like that? And we can stop it. We have to stop it. You know, when I first went on June 16th, thank you.
That was 2015.
Yeah. On June 16th of last year, when I talked about illegal immigration, a lot of people didn't know what I was talking about. And we started a dialogue. I took a lot of heat. You know that. More than anybody, you know that. And they started looking into it, and all of a sudden they realized I was right. It's a tremendous, tremendous problem. And we want people to come into this country, Sean, but we want them to come in legally. They have to come in legally.
I want to talk about... You've said a lot of things about immigration. Let's start with, I guess, your signature issue on immigration, which is you are going to build the wall.
Yeah, 100%.
I see you do this. Who's going to pay for the wall? All right. Here's my question.
What has been interesting, I've been watching over the last week or two, and they've been saying, oh, well, maybe he won't build the wall. Maybe he won't.
Jeb Bush said that. Jeb Bush said he'll never build the wall.
Well, he said that a long time ago. I think people now realize we're building the wall. It's going to happen. It's 100%. It's simple. You know, I tell the story all the time. The Great Wall of China, 13,000 miles long. This is 1,000 miles that we have Caterpillar tractors to build, okay? This is 1,000 miles. It's 2,000, but we need 1,000. And it's so easy to do. And it gets higher and higher and higher every time somebody says, I'm not going to do it.
Here's an important question. I think the time frame, if you get elected president of the United States of America, according to the crowd, when? Yeah. Okay, but here's my question. How long would it take you to build that wall? Start to finish. You're a builder.
I'm very good at it, almost immediately. Now, if you would believe it, you know, they were going to build the wall a while ago, not so long ago, like in 2006, and they couldn't get environmental impact statements. Can you believe it? Okay. Now, we got lucky because it was such a little wall. It was such a nothing wall. No, they couldn't get their environment. Probably a snake was in the way, or a toad, or
a turtle,
or
could have been
something
a turtle
that you probably never heard of.
Yeah.
But something was in the way. And you think of China, in the South China Sea, they're building this massive fortress. They're building this massive military fortress, and they're digging that water. They're digging. And you know what happened? They said, let's do it on Sunday, and on Monday morning they started. Mm-hmm. So in our case, look, that wall's going to start very quickly. I got, as you know, and we have a lot of the Border Patrol. We have a lot of the Border Patrol agents here tonight, and we have 16,500 Border Patrol agents. They know the border better than anybody. Their job is much easier without Trump, because all they have to do is let everyone just keep going by. These are unbelievable people. They see what's happening. They see what's coming in, and they want it stopped. They want people to come in, but they want the people to be vetted. So here's the story. So they endorsed me. First time in the history of the Border Patrol agents that they've endorsed me. One other thing we have to say, and Mexico will pay for the wall. They're going to pay for the wall.
Let me ask you about that. Vicente Fox, by the way, the current president of Mexico said he would meet with you. Will you meet with him?
Yeah, sure. I'd meet with him.
You would?
Absolutely. I'd meet with him.
They're not going to write you a check. How do you get them to pay for the wall?
Well, there are many ways. Look, on trade, they're absolutely killing us. They're killing us. They're killing us at the border. They're killing us on trade. We have a trade deficit with Mexico of close to $60 billion a year. So right there, you can build the wall because the wall's a fraction of that. So, right there.
Here's my next question.
We lose a fortune on trade, and that doesn't include the drugs that are pouring across the border, which is probably double or triple or something.
I have covered the border now for years on this program. I've been from the Rio Grande to San Diego and everywhere in between 12 times.
Right.
I've been down I have seen drug warehouses. I have seen tunnels. We'll show some of the pictures. My next question is, and this is where you seem to, in the last week, be revisiting the issue of sending everybody back that is here illegally. Tell us where you stand on that.
We want to follow the laws. We have very strong laws. We have very strong laws in this country. And I don't know if you know, but Bush and even Obama sends people back. Now, we can be more aggressive in that, but we want to follow the laws. If you start going around trying to make new laws in this country, it's a process that's brutal. We want to follow the laws of the country, and if we follow the laws, we can do what we have to do. But John, let me tell you, so important. We've got some great people in this country. They shouldn't be here. They're still great people, all right? But we've got some really, really bad gang members and some horrible people.
Start with them.
Those people are going out day one. They're going to be the first order I sign. They're going out day one.
All right, but I know this question has come up a lot. What about people that work hard, have been here a long time, they own homes, they have their property? And this is a question everyone's going to want to answer. What about them? Do they have to go back, or would you reconsider
We are going to follow the laws of the country, Sean.
So that means they go back.
Follow the laws. And we're going to see who people are. We're going to see how they've done. Do you believe in a merit system, Sean? When people come in, as an example, do you believe in a merit system? One of the things that's very unfair with leaving people is that you have years and years of people waiting online. They've gone through a process, and they've filed legally. They filed, and they're great people in some cases. I guess in some cases, maybe not. But you have really great people wanting, and so proudly wanting, to come into a country. And now what you'd be doing is you'd take people away from that line. And it's
Is
really
there any part of the law that you might be able to change that would accommodate those people that contribute to society, have been law-abiding, have kids here? Would there be any room in your mind, or because I know you had a meeting this week with Hispanic leaders.
I did. I had a meeting with great people, great Hispanic leaders, and there certainly can be a softening, because we're not looking to hurt people. We want people. We have some great people in this country. We have some great people in this country. But we're going to follow the laws of this country. And we have what people don't realize. What people don't realize, we have very, very strong laws.
Yeah, but
Nobody
Obama doesn't follow them. He doesn't care.
They don't follow them.
Yeah.
But we're going to follow the laws.
We'll take a break. We're just getting things started. Donald Trump with us for the entire hour. We'll ask him about today's breaking news about the Clinton Foundation, get his reaction to the devastating flood that he went to and he saw with his own eyes in Baton Rouge. When we come back, you're going to hear from mothers whose children were killed by illegal immigrants. As we continue, we're in Austin, Texas. It's Hannity on the road. Straight ahead.
My name is Laura Wilkerson, and my family became a victim of illegal alien crime on November 16, 2010. My youngest son, Joshua, was a senior in high school and had his whole life ahead of him. He went to school and never returned. At trial, the killer testified on his behalf and gave exact testimony on how he systematically killed Joshua. He first threw a punch in the face so that Joshua's vision was messed up and he could not fight back. He next kneed Joshua in an abdomen so that he would go to the ground. Josh went to the ground as his spleen was sliced in half. Next, he took a closet rod and beat Josh over the head again and again until the rod broke in 4 pieces. He waited and he watched him die. He tied Josh's body up, stuffed it in the back seat of our truck, bought gas, dumped Josh in a field and set his body on fire. The killer went home, took a shower, and went to see a movie. And you talked about fear, you know, that illegals are afraid to come out of the shadows. You know, you want to know what fear is? You know, when somebody reaches in your house and grabs your littlest kid and tortures them, you're afraid of everything.
That was the heartbreaking congressional testimony of Laura Wilkerson, where she was talking about the death of her son, Josh. Laura is here with us tonight. Also with us, Agnes Gibney is with us. Her son, Ronald, was shot and killed by an illegal immigrant back in 2002. Also, Marianne Mendoza, her son, Sergeant Brandon Mendoza, was killed in 2014 by an illegal immigrant as well in a car crash. Ladies, thank you all for being with us. Our hearts, our prayers go out to all of you. At the start of this show, I put up numbers. Those are statistics. This is real life, real experience. I feel, especially in the cases of when these guys had criminal records, that your government betrayed you. What do you want to say to Mr. Trump?
They did betray us. Every one of our kids should be here with us today. This seems like fun to be here. It's not. I'd rather be home with my kid any minute. And this administration and Hillary, if she's chosen it, her administration will do nothing for Americans. And I really believe that Mr. Trump will do everything for the Americans.
During your trial, the guy that killed your son said he was proud. He said, because he accused Josh of kicking his dog, and that his culture is very different than ours, and he was really excited that he had killed your son. I couldn't believe that when I read that.
It's horrific as a mom to sit there and see exactly what he did to your child. He was happy about it. And let me tell you what, he was so unremorseful that just like the people that are flooding over a border will cut your head off in a minute, it can happen to your family just like it happened to mine.
Yeah. Marianne, tell us your story.
My son was an integral part of the community, and his life was cut short by a repeat criminal. And the loss has been felt for years. And, you know, Arizona is a big state for this type of problem. And I've had many meetings with Sheriff Paul Babu and the statistics from the Border Patrol. And what I'm concerned about, Mr. Trump, is the country that we're going to be leaving our children. I love my children too much to even think about what we're leaving them. There have been almost 6,400 apprehensions at the border this year alone from people who are not from Mexico or South America. They're from terrorist-related countries. That's a huge concern of mine. The other is that, you know, we're so concerned about our president and our senators and whatnot, but we really have to start paying attention to federal judges, because there's so many of them who are taking the law into their own hands on the bench and refusing to deport people who the Department of Homeland Security has recommended be deported, and they absolutely say no. There's been like 194,000 so far this year.
Any of you ever get a call from the government? Any president, anybody ever call you guys?
No, and I wrote 2 letters.
Yeah.
From the next president, we got a call.
Yes.
It took you 13 years to come into this country legally. You respected our laws and our sovereignty, and you came in legally. Your son, Ronald, was killed by an illegal immigrant from Mexico, and by the way, who had been previously deported, and our borders are so open that he was able to walk back across, which resulted in the death of your son. Tell us about it.
My son was murdered April 27, 2002. When I found out this guy was here illegally and had crossed the border, I was outraged. This should not be happening. Our children should be protected. Our citizens should be protected. Us Americans should come first. And an insult to injury, they treat the families like we are the criminals. We have no rights in a court of law. That's unacceptable. So, Mr. Trump, let me lay that first brick.
In the setup piece to this show, you speak passionately about this, and you have met many mothers and fathers.
I have.
What is your promise to them if you're elected?
Well, look, all we can say, because the loss is beyond anything that we can even think
No parent should have to go through this.
So all we can say is that they will not have died in vain because we won't let it happen to others. That's all we can say. There's nothing else we can do.
I believe you.
You know, one of the things I've heard, and I've heard this from almost everyone, from you and Jamil and so many others, is that when the police, and you know I'm a big, big proponent and fan of the police. They're incredible. When somebody is killed, they are aggressive and they're really in there. They want to find out what happened. When they find out it's an illegal immigrant, they really lose heart because there's very little they can do. Hard to believe. There's very little they can do, and I'm sure you probably feel that way. And I've had people say, oh, the police were so great until they found out that the person that did the killing is an illegal immigrant. And then they all of a sudden pull back.
You were on the radio show today.
Yes.
And we had another gentleman. His son was 21 years old. He was working in a Quick Mart. An illegal immigrant who was convicted of raping and holding a woman hostage for a week. Went to jail, and they let him right back out on American soil. And because this guy's son didn't get the cigarettes fast enough, he killed him right then and there. That's got to stop. God bless all of you. We're so sorry for your loss and your pain.
Thank you.
Thank you. When we come back, we'll hear from more mothers whose children killed by illegal immigrants. More reaction from Donald Trump as we continue from Austin, Texas. We're live at the Moody Theater. Stay with us.
Sarah was my only daughter. She was 21. She had just graduated from Bellevue University with a 4.0. The night of January 31st, 2016, as she was coming home, she was rear-ended by Eswin Mejia, who was 19 years old, here illegally, drunk driving, street racing. My daughter died instantly. This is not isolated incidents. This is happening all the time. Our family does not have closure. We probably never will have closure.
That was Michelle Root talking about the death of her daughter, Sarah, and she joins us now, along with Julie Golvac is with us. Her son, Spencer, shot and killed by an illegal immigrant in 2015. Also joining us, Sabine Durden is with us. Her son, Dominic, was killed in 2012 when an illegal immigrant hit his motorcycle. You okay?
Yep.
You sure? That is a beautiful young girl.
Thank you.
Beautiful.
Tell us what happened.
She had graduated on January 30th with a 4.0 in criminal investigations from Bellevue University in Omaha, Nebraska. Went out with some friends that night. She was coming home, stopped at a stoplight on L Street. That jerk was street racing 70 miles plus an hour. Blood alcohol level of 0.41.
3 times the legal limit.
Which is 12 because he was 19. He was not of legal age to be drinking. So,
look at the pictures. What a beautiful young lady.
She was my baby.
She had a whole life, whole life ahead of her.
I have 2 children. She was my youngest and my only daughter, and out celebrating, sitting at a stoplight, and to have it taken. He was arrested, but then the judge set his bond pretty low, $50,000.
He got out
10%,
at 5.
5. In Nebraska, you don't have to secure arrest.
$5,000 kills this young woman. She's 21.
21.
And she was killed at 21 and got out on $5,000 bail.
In Nebraska, you don't have to secure the other $45,000. So $5,000 is all he paid, and now he is running free, and my daughter is gone.
I'm so sorry. Sabine, what happened?
Exactly.
I'm a legal immigrant from Germany. I did everything right, and my son Dominic. Dominic was nicknamed German chocolate because of his heritage. And I brought him with me. I brought his ashes with me to show what I have left of my family. I have no family left. That was my only child. The guy got 9 months, 5 years probation, and served 35 days for killing my child. He had a prior felony and 2 DUIs. And Mr. Trump, you saved my life the day you announced you're running because you mentioned immigration. I couldn't take the pain anymore, so I wanted out. And I walked past the TV and I heard Mr. Trump talk about illegal immigration, and I dropped and I screamed and I said, finally somebody listening to us.
Julie, you actually brought your son's ashes with you.
Yes, I did. He's always with me. I always wear the same necklace, and there is a little bit of his ashes. So I know he's all of our kids, and there's thousands of other people's kids that have been lost because of illegal aliens. I don't call them immigrants.
By the way, Hillary won't say those words, just like she won't say radical Islamic terrorism.
Well, she has illegals on her stage and want us to feel sorry about families separated. What about mine? What about our families?
Julie, I've gotten to know Mr. Trump's kids. I'm best friends with his son, Donnie. We've become really good friends, and Eric, and I've known Ivanka for many years, and I have 2 kids. There's nothing, words escape me, and they never escape me. Because there's nothing worse than a parent losing a child.
Right.
Tell us your story.
My son Spencer, when he was 22, he started his own small business, Spencer's Guitar Shop. He was a musician, entrepreneur. And 2 years into the business, he also took another full-time job, working one of those jobs Americans won't do. He worked in a warehouse full-time to keep his 8 to 9 employees staffed. And he was my dreamer. He was my only child, and he was my dreamer. Now, on January 31st, 2015, Obama and Hillary Clinton's dreamer decided to go on a shooting spree and shot 4 people, and he didn't care what color they were. Black, brown, and white were shot that night. 2 of the 4 were murdered, and 1 was my son. And as the illegal drove by, he shot into the passenger side. My son was sitting at a red light, waiting for it to turn green. He was less than a mile from his home.
You're in our prayers. Thank you. Are you okay? Come on.
Yep.
You sure? You all right? Come on. All right, we love you. Everyone here is praying for you. I know that's hard. Go ahead. You want to say one more thing?
I just want to say that the illegal alien that killed my son had been deported 4 times. He was a known gang member, burglary, assault, and on his 3rd deportation, when he came back in, he went to federal prison, assaulted a man, and was supposed to get an extended 20-year mandatory sentence. The United States government gave him a plea bargain to 5 years. If they would have even given him half of his sentence, my son would still be here today. Yep. With all of that background, they gave him the minimum sentence.
Say hello to the family, okay?
All right, we're going to come back. By the way, CBS, NBC, ABC, CNN, MSNBC would never do a show like this. Did not tell you the truth. More with Donald Trump after the break. Our thoughts and prayers are with all of you. We mean that. Thank you so much.
Mercedes-Benz, the best or nothing.
On March the 2nd, 2008, my life changed in a twinkling of an eye. 1 minute, I'm hearing my son's voice. Be right home, old man. I'm right around the corner. Next minute, gunshots, and Jazz is dead. I saw the hole in his head and blood everywhere. It happened so fast, Jazz was still holding his phone. We learned the killer was an illegal alien gangbanger from Mexico. Released from jail with a deportation hold, 3 gun charges, and the assault and battery on a police officer.
Welcome back to Hannity. We're in Austin, Texas. That was Jamil Shaw talking about the death of his son, 17-year-old Jamil Shaw Jr. And we continue with Republican presidential nominee Donald Trump. I saw your reaction both on air and off air with these victims. Let me give you numbers. Illegal immigrant convictions fiscal year 2015. 18% of all drug trafficking sentences, 30% of all kidnapping, hostage-taking sentences, 75% of drug possession sentences, 10% of money laundering sentences, 21% of national defense sentences, 5% of murder sentences, according to the U.S. Sentencing Commission. Something's wrong.
No, it's wrong. It's wrong, and everybody knows it's wrong. And the other side, I don't know. I guess it's politics.
A message for those guys. All lives matter. Mr. Trump, $113 billion a year. Let's go over your specific agenda. You talk about E-Verify, you talk about the wall, you talk about what do we do with those that overstay their visas specifically?
Have to get them out. You have to get them out.
Do we have to track them?
We have to track them, and you can track them. You know, modern technology is a great thing. You can track anybody. But people come into the country, they never leave, and they don't leave. They're supposed to leave. People want them to leave. They may even think they're going to leave when they come in. Who knows? But then they decide to stay. And in some cases, tremendous harm. And in other cases, a lot of economic harm. So we have to do something.
What else is part of this? We're going to do, when it comes to future, when visas, students, one of the things, and I think this is interrelated, the whole issue of what you call extreme vetting.
Yeah.
James Comey, James Clapper, General John Allen, Mike Steinbeck, the assistant FBI director, Brennan, our CIA director, Mike McCall, the chairman of the House Homeland Security Committee, all say that ISIS will infiltrate the refugee population like they did in Belgium and France and Germany and Britain and
they're
the rest
doing
of
it
Europe.
now, Sean. Look, we're taking in tens of thousands of people that we have no idea who they are, where they come from, and they're all over the place. And I don't know if you know, but your government is accepting people, and they don't even know where they're being housed. They don't know where they're being taken care of. They're being put in California. They're being put in different states. We go to Texas. You go to all over. You go to all over. And Sean, they don't know what's going on. Our government doesn't know what's going on. In the state of Texas, we love Texas, right? We love Texas. But they're being put all over the place, and our government officials, they don't know. They don't know. And it's very sad.
One of the big conflicts, Hillary Clinton claims that she has a monopoly of compassion. We got more protesters. Hillary Clinton claims that she has a monopoly on compassion for women's rights, gay rights, lesbian rights, but she took all this money from countries like Saudi Arabia where they tell women how to dress, they can't drive, they can't go to school or work, and then they kill gays and lesbians just for being gay and lesbian, and you can't build a temple or a church.
Well, the other thing about her is this. You might as well let this get finished.
Yeah.
Might as well let the police do their job.
Yeah, they're about to do that. All right. All of Texas is conservative except a little bit of Austin, all right? Now, you got to admit, Hillary Clinton doesn't have this much fun on the road, right?
But, Hillary Clinton has no borders. There are no borders. She wants people to pour in. She couldn't care less. That's why the Border Patrol agents, they endorse me. They want people, her whole group, want people to just pour across the border like it doesn't even exist. And we're going to have trouble like you've never seen before. And I'm not talking about necessarily border. I'm talking about from a much bigger standpoint.
All right. Let me finish this segment. I want to just stay on the specifics. Anybody else want to get thrown out before we get started again? All right.
Hey, this is a pretty exciting place.
I love it.
I didn't know.
By the way, That was an audience member that escorted her out. This is great. All right.
Amazing.
All right, Mr. Trump, here's the most important question. Everything together, you're convinced we can stop all the illegal immigration, and from those countries where they practice Sharia, when you say
boom, out, over, out.
We'll take a break. When we come back from Austin, Texas, Hillary Clinton, believe it or not, as Secretary of State, half of her meetings just happen to be Clinton Foundation donors. Oh, really? And they found 14,900 more emails that should have been turned over years ago. We'll ask Mr. Trump about it next. Hannity, as we broadcast live tonight from the OCL Moody Theater, we're in Austin, Texas with Donald Trump. All right, I got to shift gears a little bit because there's a lot of news. So all these Clinton emails were supposed to be turned over years ago.
Right.
Judicial Watch found another nearly 15,000 of them. Hillary, about half of the people that she met with as Secretary of State, including the Crown Prince of Bahrain, were given access because they're big Clinton Foundation donors. You have called for a special prosecutor. Tell us what your thoughts are. Do you believe this is pay to play?
Well, this is brand new that you're just telling me this, and I'm not that surprised, but that's a tremendous thing when you hear over half of the people. Is that
she met with the Secretary of State?
That's incredible. Look, it's disgusting. It shouldn't be allowed. What's going on with Hillary Clinton, there is no justice in this country. There is no justice in this country. Zero. And for her to have the privilege or the right to run for president with what she's done, with deleting 33,000 emails, and you can imagine what was on those emails. It is so sad, and the whole world is looking, and the whole world is laughing at the United States.
Well, we can argue she definitely put American security at risk. This was an email server in the bathroom of a mom and pop shop. She decided which emails to delete. We know through the interrogation of Trey Gowdy, of James Comey, the FBI director, that she lied to the American people, in this case, at least 6 times. And here's the question, though. If in fact Hillary Clinton was only allowing donors, or allowing half the people that she saw as Secretary of State, do you believe that she was selling access to that office?
100%. Look, and if you then trace it, and you see the people that came in and what happened to those people, what did they get? Because they were representing either a country or themselves. They got a lot. You just take a look. They got a lot. They're not going there to say, gee, I just wanted to say hello, how's the weather?
Right.
These are sophisticated, hardened people. They got a lot. They wanted a lot. They contributed a lot in order to get this kind of access. But they didn't get the access to say hello, Sean. They got the access because they wanted things. And if you trace it back, you're going to find out that they got plenty.
People know that I have the opportunity to interview you a lot, and they say, please, I love Mr. Trump, but tell him to be quiet about Judge Curiel, about the media, about Mr. Khan, and only focus on Hillary and Obama. Now, my question to you is, we've got less than 80 days to go. Are you focused only on those 2?
Well, look, I have to be who I am. I mean, to be honest. And I think that's why I won the primaries. I think that's why I got more votes in the history of the Republican primary. Nobody's gotten as many votes. I have to be who I am. But this is now about Hillary Clinton versus myself. And, I win. I win in life. I win. I want to win. I have a very winning temperament, okay? I know how to win. And we are going to win.
I don't think we ever
make
noticed
America
that.
great again. We are going to make America great again. That's what it's all about.
You have these debates coming up. How important do you feel these debates are for this campaign? Do you think it could put you over the top? Are they game changers?
Well, we're doing well. You see the polls came out, and the Los Angeles Times were up 2. We seem to be doing well. I can't tell you how important. I can say that I've enjoyed debating. I had 11 debates, as you know, the last time, and I did quite well. And I think they're going to be very important. It looks like it's going to be 3 debates. I look very much forward to it. It'll be a very interesting, especially the first one's going to be a very interesting evening. They think it's going to be one of the highest rated shows in television history. We'll find out. But I look forward to the debates. I think they're going to be very important.
We got to take a break. Our final moments with Donald Trump this hour as we continue from Austin, Texas. Straight ahead. Welcome back to Hannity. Unfortunately, that's all the time we have left this evening, but let not your heart be troubled. Part 2 of our exclusive town hall event from Austin with Donald Trump tomorrow night, 10 Eastern. And we send a Hannity producer right down to the border to see what the Border Patrol agents have to deal with on a daily basis. That's tomorrow night, and we'll get law enforcement in their perspective on the very important problem now defining this election of illegal immigration. Thanks for being with us. Thank you, Mr. Trump. Have a good night.